It's the then versus now challenge!
Quarterfinals.
Welcome back to the Scrapyard, friends.
And thank you for joining us for Race 2 of the quarterfinals.
We have a great race today with the BMW M3 GT2 facing off against the Nissan GTR R35.
I think you're forgetting something.
And what's that?
You forgot to say the mighty, undefeated, probably going to win it all, most precise driver in Scrapyard history, the monstrous Godzilla R35.
How could I be so careless? Oh, because I'm a professional, impartial commentator. That's how. Anyway, moving on, fans. Let's look at a quick recap of how these racers made it here today to the quarterfinals. Representing Team Now, it's the 2011 BMW M3 GT2. In his race, the M3 easily won Heat 1 as the 2002 missed a block and self-eliminated. And I think his overconfidence caught him off guard when the 2002 did this unbelievable T-bone block into a reverse drift for the backwards win by a bumper. I'm really surprised that move didn't get named the 2002. But the M3 quickly refocused and sideswiped the 2002 into the wall for the deciding win in Heat 3. In his Carfax segment, we mentioned how that car is purposely built for racing. This is another chance for him to highlight his driving skills and further cement his reputation as the one to watch in this competition.
Well, when it comes to the one to watch, you know there's only one car for me. Also representing Team Now, it's the kaiju of car crushers. The one and only Godzilla himself, the Nissan GTR R35. In Heat 1, he blocked into a reverse block, sending the HT into the edge of the metal barrier. Then, to add insult to injury and show off his precision, in Heat 2, the R35 sent the HT into the same exact metal barrier edge on the opposite side of the track. And finally, in Heat 3, in what can only be described as racing magic, when the HT tried to desperately go for a block, the R35 somehow made his car bounce, causing the HT to go under the R35. The HT was in a reality-warping state of disbelief and would only snap to when reality and the wall came crashing back into his front bumper.
This is the moment when teammates become rivals. Let's get up to the broadcast booth and get this race started.
Scrapyard Diecast Racing.
Arguably the two most skilled drivers in this competition lined up as opponents for the first time.
This might go from the then vs now challenge to who is the king of the heat.
In lane 1, it's the 2011 BMW M3 GT2. And in lane 2, it's the 2017 Nissan GTR R35.
3, 2, 1, go!
They're even.
GTR blocks.
Into a reverse pit maneuver. How is that even possible?
Let's go to the replay and find out.
Scrapyard Diecast Racing.
You can see how evenly they pull off the line and descend down the downhill.
It's like they're teammates, but they both want the win. Seems like they're just dipping their toes into that competitive water.
But then the GTR decides to dive in and goes for the block.
And when the M3 tries to drive around, the GTR goes into Godzilla mode and does a reverse pit maneuver. I can't say it enough. This guy is the best. He's unbeatable. Can we just line him up against the Monte Carlo right now? I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep talking. From the finish line cam, you could really appreciate how incredibly precise that move was executed. He delivers a pit maneuver in reverse, ending it for the M3, then corrects his car and stops at the finish line, pointed directly at the finish line cam, like he's posing for pictures. I'm the GTR, I'm here, and shower me with adoration. This guy is the best.
Scrapyard Diecast Racing.
Well, it appears the GTR is trying to prove you could win while simultaneously putting on a show. And he'll go down in Scrapyard history as being the first racer to score wins against the competition and his own team.
Scrapyard Diecast Racing.
Here we are at Heat 2. The BMW M3 needs a win here if he hopes to stay alive.
Mandatory lane change gives the M3 the opportunity to see what it's like to lose to Godzilla from the other side of the track.
Forgive us, fans. Someone has forgotten we're supposed to have decorum and be impartial. In lane 1, it's the 2017 Nissan GTR R35. And in lane 2, it's the 2011 BMW M3 GT2.
3, 2, 1. go!
They're even.
They connect!
Did you see what the M3 just did? Was I the only one who noticed how he just won?
Scrapyard Diecast Racing.
Again, you can see how evenly they pull off the line, and they stay that way all the way for the length of the downhill, and they both go for the block at the opening of the bottleneck. But once they hit the straight, the GTR decides to go wide and use all 565 of those horses. The BMW, knowing he only has 485, he does what was done to him when he was the Goliath to the 2002's David. He steals the 2002's T-bone block into a reverse drift for the backwards win by a bumper move for his own win. Incredible. While the GTR might be here to put on a show, the BMW just proved he's here to not only learn lessons, but to teach them as well. Wow, fans, this is Scrapyard Diecast Racing at its best.
Scrapyard Diecast Racing.
And with that win, the BMW M3 GT2 did what needed to be done and has managed to stay alive.
That's why you never take a baby rattlesnake from its mama.
Thanks, Well Bob. Now we know. SDR.
If you know how the rest of that goes, then you were probably an 80s kid. And what better way to let the whole wide world know that you grew up in the greatest decade of all time is with one of these here shirts from Railroad Design. Heck, he's made it so easy you can just click on the link in that there description and order up one of these fine apparel. And each item you buy helps keep me flying and gas into Yellow Jack. But you better act quick, cause these shirts are gonna go faster than a toupee in a hurricane. Yo!
Scrapyard Diecast Racing.
Looks like the officials have cleared the track for the final heat of race 2.
I don't believe it! The GTR just lost!
Did that just register? That was the last heat.
I don't believe it. Let's go to the replay.
We did the replay. Or rather, I did the replay. You just sat there, blank, drooling on the floor. Well, fans, while he catches up to the rest of us, in lane 1 it's the BMW M3, and in lane 2 it's the GTR.
3, 2, 1, go!
They're even.
GTR box takes off and wins! Godzilla is back, baby! Yes! He's the best! Look how evenly they take off and go down the downhill. But the GTR just keeps inching in ever so slightly. And once they get into the bottleneck, wham! He blocks the BMW the whole way through that tight squeeze. Then he downshifts and tears down the straight. And just to prove that Godzilla is back, he does something monstrous and takes out all the safety rocks and leaves the safety trees shaking.
No.
No what?
I'll let you have your little safety rocks, but we are not, I repeat, not calling trees safety trees.
Well, how about calling him something we could both agree on?
And what's that?
Cue the bumper.
Scrapyard Diecast Racing.
We can agree to call the GTR the winner. Plus, we can also agree to call him semi-finalist because he just secured his spot in the next round.
True, all true. While the GTR continues, the BMW has nothing to feel ashamed about. He put on a marvelous display of racing to make not only his fellow teammates, but also everyone here at Scrapyard Diecast Racing proud.
Just not as good as Godzilla.
Well, regardless of the individual win, Team Now just scored 2 more points in the overall team scores, doubling their point advantage over Team Then at 8 points to 4. Well, fans, this is the point where we sign off from the broadcast booth. Next time we meet at the Scrapyard, it will be all about the pony cars in race 3 of the quarterfinals when the Shelby Mustang GT500 faces off against the Camaro ZL1.
I hope you'll join us again back here at the Scrapyard, but until then, thank you all for watching. If you haven't done so, give us a like, and please subscribe to the Scrapyard so you never miss a race.
And follow us on Instagram and Facebook for even more Scrapyard Diecast Racing action. So please join us next time for the next installment of
It's the Then versus Now Challenge!
Scrapyard Diecast Racing.